The absurd, the obsessed, the obscure. Follow us if you dare as we open the files at My Weird Space. Spectacular performances at the Pizza Championships in Italy. A historic uniform bows out in Japan. And one of India's traditional sports makes a comeback. Harbin is one of the biggest cities in China's northeast, and for the past 24 years, it's hosted an annual ice show. Over 15,000 people carved and sculpted day and night to get things ready on time. They used more than 120,000 cubic metres of ice from local rivers and lakes. But walking around to see the magnificent ice city is not easy. Most of the tourists who come from China's south have never experienced cold like this before. Over 100,000 tourists from all over the world and China flock into the city every day to catch a glimpse of the new town of ice. It took the team just 15 days to finish the project, and the festival itself usually lasts 70 days. There's one thing that's not good for Harbin's ice sculpting festival, and that's global warming. Like other parts of the world, Harbin has experienced a rapidly rising temperature. This Malaysian ice sculptor, who's been taking part for 6 years, said the weather was getting too warm for this competition. While Harbin has collected plenty of tourist dollars from around the world, the town of ice is now sweating hard. Even though the city is perched on the edge of Siberia, average annual temperatures hit 6.6 degrees Celsius last year. That's the highest average on record. The media hosts plenty of debate about how to curb climate change. But participants in Harbin's festival would just like to know how to keep their creations from melting. The forecast doesn't look good for economies dependent on ice. It's probably happened to you. Your throat is parched, but you're out of coins for the drink vending machine. Well, help is just a phone call away for thirsty Australians, thanks to Dial-A-Coke. At Sydney's Central Station, people can charge a $2 Coke to their mobile phones at no extra charge for the phone call. All customers do is call the Dial-A-Coke number on the vending machine and make their selection. The charge shows up on the customer's next phone bill. It's proving popular with Coke drinkers who think Dial-A-Coke should go nationwide. A similar trial of Dial-A-Coke vending machines is running in Chile. Here at My Weird Space, we're wondering what will be next. Perhaps you'll be able to buy a car with your mobile phone. And don't forget, you'll be able to book that next holiday to the moon or Mars. Italians may have invented the pizza, but inventing isn't a category at the 10th World Pizza Championship. National pride is on the line in northern Italy as competitors from all over the world put their flour-covered hands to the test to see who would take away the title of the world's top pizza maker. 250 competitors from 17 countries rolled, tossed and baked it out. The competition is split into 3 categories: fastest pizza, largest pizza And believe it or not, freestyle pizza acrobatics. Many of the competitors were taking part in more than one category in the hope of gaining pizza fame. Most competitors say they underwent no special training for the championship and learnt everything they know about pizza on the job. "100 years ago, Switzerland's top chocolate manufacturers got together and created a federation. So it's time to celebrate, and what better way than with a chocolate-scented postage stamp? It's sure to please chocolate lovers. The stamp not only looks like a square of chocolate on an open foil wrapper, but smells like it too. The Swiss chocolate scent is sealed in tiny capsules in the stamp, and to release the delicious aroma, you just have to rub it slightly. Choco Suisse, the Swiss Chocolate Producers Federation, brings together Swiss manufacturers such as Lindt, Nestlé and Tobler, which are among today's leading brands. This is probably not the first scratch and sniff stamp, but it's certainly one of the only ones worth licking. In Japan, there is a saying that a crying baby grows up strong. So, once a year, the traditional heart of Tokyo is abuzz with baby talk as parents and their toddlers lined up to take part in an old custom dating back at least 800 years. Behind a temple in downtown Tokyo, a sumo ring was set up just like a normal sumo tournament. Next, the mothers hand their babies to wrestlers to be shaken, stirred and frightened out of their wits. The rule of the game is the first baby to squeal wins. A key rule is that in no way can the baby be hurt. Not all babies disliked the treatment they got. Some giggled, others fell asleep in the big arms of the wrestlers, though most preferred the reassuring embrace of their mother. And after a long day under the sun, there's no doubt that it's the mothers who take the prize for bringing up happy and crying children. Students used to get excited about a new playground or sports equipment. But some engineering students at a British school were thrilled recently to take delivery of a new bioreactor. The project involves the students converting waste vegetable oil into biodiesel in the science lab. The students learn to use the bioreactor to produce fuels for the minibus. There was only one problem. Being such a healthy college, the kitchens don't produce enough waste vegetable oil to keep the bus running, and so a local restaurant chipped in with 30 litres of its waste oil each week. Students see firsthand the benefits of a scientific process which helps the environment and also saves the college money. It's also a lot cheaper to run the school bus these days. The students worked that out during maths. For some Japanese women, it was a real shock. After 5 decades, the famous lemon yellow uniforms of Hato bus tour guides have been replaced by brown ones. So, as a farewell gesture to the old costume, Hato let 45 fans wear it and experience what it's like to be a guide. The lucky women donned yellow suits and set about the basics of learning to be a guide. Starting with how to bow properly at a perfect 60-degree angle. Lessons also covered the very important how to point while holding a microphone. Some participants thought the course might help them overcome weak personality traits. After a morning in the classroom, they divided and piled onto buses to try out their skills on the road. It was a beautiful sayonara to a lemon-coloured part of Tokyo's transport history. To some, Second Life may mean an internet computer program that allows strangers to communicate in cyberspace. But at Leicester University in Britain, academics are exploring its possibilities as a study environment. They've created a virtual island where students and teaching staff can meet as they would on a university campus in real life. The launch of the scheme brought together contributors who could be anywhere in the world, represented by their Second Life identities. Leicester University's Virtual Island offers a wide variety in its educational experience. But if you need a break, there's a virtual reality theatre, wildlife and challenges to undertake. It's a new kind of university, which uses the latest in entertainment software and the internet to probe new territory in education. Just a face in the crowd may not be that for much longer. A university has developed a new way of using 3D imaging to scan faces. The technical breakthrough could have major potential for security organisations around the world. After this, the team is working on an infrared version that can see through disguises. Ever wanted to be part of a movie you're watching? In a few years, you may just have the chance. Researchers have pioneered a new form of interactive cinema. It will allow viewers the chance of not just watching a film, but immersing themselves in it through controlling what they see and hear. The project, still a prototype, is a 360-degree cylindrical screen with a rotating platform at its centre. A projector on the top of the platform projects the film onto the screen, while the viewer can rotate the platform or zoom into points of interest. Using stitched-together images from multiple cameras, you get the illusion of a seamless 360-degree panorama. It could make for a movie atmosphere you could cut with a knife. When cemeteries get overcrowded in Thailand, there's a very Thai solution. Young and old donate hours of their time to prepare the bones for their final journey. Each skull is scrubbed, rinsed and left in the sun to dry out before cremation. This time, 1,000 skeletons have been removed to create more room. This process happens all over Thailand, and it's usually the bodies of poor people that are removed because their relatives can't afford a proper burial and grave. The volunteer cleaners aren't worried about touching the dead bones. They believe helping out will bring good luck to them and their families. Fancy a quick jog? This New Yorker thought he'd squeeze in a quick tour of planet Earth on his run. First up, over New York City's Brooklyn Bridge. Despite the temperature, it's all going to plan. Yes, well done, we're watching. Here we are in Poland, and before you know it, he's made it to India. With a bit more traffic on the street, you need to keep your eyes open. Watch your step, especially during monsoon season. Next stop, Japan, and only another 429 kilometres till Tokyo. He probably meant to be on the footpath, but our intrepid traveller is so focused he doesn't realise where he is. And finally, back home to America, and a jog well done. It's a perfect day for a dip in the North Sea. Cloudy skies overhead and a balmy 8-degree water temperature. Perfect, say the Dutch, to celebrate the new year. It's a time to symbolise a new start. Around midday, the barrier is lifted and the freezing crowds dash for the water. Many don traditional orange hats and gloves to complement their swimming costumes. Perhaps the best way to do it is to hold hands with a friend or friends and take the plunge as a group. In 1965, just 7 people took part. This year, the number was an amazing 10,000. Of course, in Rome, New Year's celebrations are much more sensible. Instead of 10,000 getting wet, just 3 locals braved freezing temperatures to hurt themselves from a bridge into the Tiber. Rome's Cavour Bridge is 17 metres above the water, so instead of a painful looking back slap, the best method is an elegant somersault. The most famous diver, who is nicknamed Mr. OK, has been diving on New Year's Day for over 20 years. Emergency services are always there in case of any accidents. The Tiber dive has been a Roman New Year's Day tradition since 1946. A musician in Thailand is raising his glass to some unusual music. Using finely tuned brandy and wine glasses and a delicate touch, Wirafong Tawisak believes he's the first man ever to play glass music in Thailand. Wirafong developed an interest in glass music after seeing a TV documentary about it several years ago. He says it took him a year and a half of rigorous training to perfect the techniques of tuning the glasses using water, and then of playing them by rubbing a finger gently around the rim. Since taking up the music, Wirafong has performed all over Asia and in France, and he now plans to expand his career in Italy and Japan. He's a real crowd pleaser, wherever he sets up his glasses. There's no ball, no bats, and no goals. But in this tournament, held in India's northern Punjab, the competition is fierce. It's called Kabaddi. Teams take turns sending a raider across to the opposite team's half. The goal is to tag or wrestle opponents before returning to the home half. Tagged members are out and are sent off the field. Organisers are hoping youngsters will show an interest in Kabaddi and stay away from drugs and crime. Kabaddi is popular throughout Asia, and it's even played by the British Army, which sees it as an excellent way to keep fit. With two 20-minute halves plus a 5-minute break, it's not hard to see why. The tournament's winning team gets a cash prize, a gold trophy, and a well-earned rest. Over the border to Pakistan, Punjab, and here's something your eyelids may not believe. Mohammed Sabir Sipra can lift weights with his eyelids. He got the idea after a freak accident, which left a thick needle stuck in his eyelid. First, he lifted 1 kilogram. Now he can lift up to 10 kilograms. But why stop at eyelids? He can also lift 110 kilograms with his teeth and hang from a rope using his mouth. Mr. Sipra is also handy if your car or bus needs a tow. It can take a little while for him to build momentum. The good news is that with government assistance, he hopes to launch a foreign tour soon, but not by bus. They've already proved popular in Japan and Hong Kong. Now Thailand has its first oxygen bar. As pollution levels continue to rise in Thailand's capital, residents can escape the smog inside a busy shopping centre in the heart of Bangkok. The bar provides customers with a 20-minute hit of scented oxygen for about $4. During their time attached to the oxygen tube, customers are able to listen to relaxing music and have a cool drink. The bar gets both Thais and tourists who want to escape the Bangkok heat and smog. The choice of oxygen scent includes lemon, eucalyptus, geranium and lavender. The prediction is for more oxygen bars opening soon. That's all we have this time, but follow us again if you dare when we open the files at My Weird Space.